Hello, friends. Today we've got a very special guest on our podcast. He is none other than a very old friend of mine, Mr. Amit Damodar. We have worked on the National Association of Realtors for quite some time, and we have also partnered on multi-city transactions. Amit is a specialist in warehousing. Apart from other verticals, he has also developed a vertical on warehousing. And today we are going to learn a lot from him and understand how we can take advantage of this particular vertical. So, welcome, Amit, to the podcast.
Thank you, Kishen bhai. Glad to be here,
All right.
and congratulations on this initiative because I've been seeing a lot of your videos and very impressive work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Amit, let's begin. Your experience that has shaped your career path. A few words about that.
Well, basically, if you have to talk about how I started off till where I am, is that what you're asking me?
Yes, yes. I mean, for my viewers, so that they know, where you're coming from.
Right. So basically, I got into real estate by chance and not by choice. It was not a choice that I had actually made deliberately. So you know what? How I started off was that I was working with my dad in the family business. It was actually something that I didn't really enjoy, and I was looking for something else.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to perhaps go abroad, wanted to be a CA. There were various other aspects or opportunities that I wanted to pursue. But I ended up working with him for about 6 years post my college, and then I was actually came to real estate more as an investor, and I was looking for properties, and then I didn't really find any real good broker who could
Yeah.
give me what I want. People were giving me all kinds of wrong advice, and they were showing me all kinds of wrong properties.
Yeah.
And I started seeing properties. I was talking to my friends, and then some of them they were asking me whether I knew any good brokers because I was looking out for properties myself. And then I started suggesting to them properties that I saw, and they liked my choice so well that three of my friends, one wanted to set up a salon, one wanted to set up a boutique, one wanted
Okay.
to set up a restaurant. So I just told them that why don't you just go and look at this one property, and then all three of them actually straight away took the one property that I told them because I had seen so many. So
Okay.
no, then I understood. Maybe I have an idea about what people are looking for, and perhaps I should actually become a broker. So that's how my career started in the year 2004.
This is amazing. So
Yes.
you help people indirectly buying their choice of properties, and that is how it shaped your choice.
Yes, that's how I got into real estate. But
Amazing.
then the journey over 20 years has been actually very unique. And while I started off like that doing commercial real estate, it was never exciting. It was actually I found it very simple and easy. Then
Yeah.
I researched. I actually spoke to a few people and I realized land is the toughest business. So I always wanted to do something challenging. So no, then I spent 2 years studying land myself because there were no schools to know teachers. I would take the car, drive around all the roads, understand each area. I would go to government departments, understand the rules. I would write books on the rules. I actually understood about land acquisition, about housing board, about SIPCOTS, what you call MIDC there in Maharashtra,
Yeah.
and I went all these departments, and I had 2 years of self learning, and then I got into land full time, and then the rest is just history because we've cracked deals for the biggest builders in India here in Chennai, where we've given them lands where we've shown them one land and they've blindly taken it.
That's great.
So yes.
That's
So
great. Yeah.
typically the idea here is to think from the point of view of your buyer. So when you deal with developers, you have to think like a developer. We never gave them a land as a land. We gave to them more as a project.
True.
So it went a project report, like, what's the market? What kind of sizing will sell? If it's a two-bedroom, should we be doing a 700, 800, 900,000, or, 1,200 square feet? What is the velocity in each of those sizes? So we gave to them as a detailed report, also giving them the brief to, give their architects that, this is the sizing that you should do. So no, that's what actually made us very successful in land. Um, Pursuant to
Yeah.
that, we went into residential layout development. Pursuant to that, we started commercial real estate, residential real estate, and then we started warehousing in the year 2019. And as we speak, we are the biggest company in actually leasing of industrial space and warehousing in Chennai. We don't have any competition, so to say. or we don't consider others as a competition because we do a very niche work again.
Hmm.
Again, we don't offer space as space to our clients. We understand their requirement. We design the space and we offer it to them. So we show them what can be done with the property rather than just giving them a shed. So that's what keeps us different from the rest of the market.
So, Amit, I understand what you're saying. In our market, this is the basic problem that people who want to dabble with real estate, they fail to understand the requirement. Just on the call, they start showing properties, but that property, the buyer may not be even interested in looking at. So, what you
Correct.
say is right. Unless you understand the requirement and then figure out if you've got that kind of an availability in your inventory, only then you can match and show it to the buyers. Like for even developers, as rightly you said, there are people, there would be thousands of people who would be in Pune, I'm talking about, who would be dealing into lands. But these are so called brokers. But there would be very few who would understand the developer's mindset, look at a property, check out its feasibility and profitability. Because if a developer is buying something, he is buying to make a product and then sell and make some money out of it. He is not on a
Yes.
suicidal mission. So many people fail to understand and see that. So this is probably where it differs us realtors from rest of the lot.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Pursuant to that, also there was a lot of changes since COVID. So we are now transitioning from being a broking new company to being a developer, and
Oh,
and that and the whole transition has actually come post COVID. So the thought process has completely changed.
okay.
Uh, we also began to realize that a lot of our clients do not really value broker services much. So no, let me just give you an example. There was a property that the owner was quoting 100 rupees, and we had a buyer at about 90 rupees. This was just pre-COVID,
Yeah.
and 1 year past COVID, the seller, who was a very very rich person, required the money, so he was willing to drop his price from 100 to 80,
Okay.
and a buyer who was willing to buy it at 90. Earlier, he was also willing to buy it at 90 even now. Just that being loyal to the buyer and representing him for several deals, we actually got him this transaction at actually 75 rupees.
Okay.
And after getting him this at 75 rupees, he just offered to pay us a lump sum, which was a little bit less than 1% commission.
Hmm.
So that's when we began to understand that people whom we are very close to, with whom we've done a lot of deals, they begin to actually undervalue us over a period of time. So
Yeah.
that's when it moved to the thought process that I'm saving him 25% and he doesn't want to pay me 2%. And
Yeah.
and and that's when we started becoming traders, and then from traders we moved to development, because when you're doing land and you're doing leasing and you mastered both, what is in between is just the development process.
Development process. Yeah. And
Yes,
this is,
and yeah,
and since you know both sides, so development can
yeah.
be outsourced, and this it's not a very difficult job then.
Exactly, because see, as a broker, you precisely know where to buy the land, and you precisely know what to build.
Correct.
This is one mistake that developers and warehousing owners make. They don't understand that a broker is the one who can tell you what to buy, where, and what to build.
True.
They think that they know everything just by building two warehouses and having very good architects. But the architect himself doesn't know what to build. If he actually picks a warehouse of one location, puts it in another location, it's actually simply not going to lease. You have to have the right spec in the right location.
Yeah, so same applies to development of any property, may it be residential or commercial. I have seen
Yeah.
developers in earlier times who would say, हम जो भी बनाएंगे बिक जाता है. We don't care. हम जो बनाएंगे that is market. But then they don't understand that, and I've seen a lot of developers washed away from the market
Yes.
with that attitude of theirs. That product doesn't
Exactly.
sell because it's absolutely mismatched to the market that is available today or the buyers that are available.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely right.
Yeah. So, Amit, uh, what would you advise to someone who would start their field in the field today, like warehousing? How would they
Okay.
start?
So, generally about real estate, there are actually two, three. I would rather put it as four very important points. The point number one is that you should be a broker with a different mentality.
Yeah.
See, the problem with the broker mentality is that when they find that their client is buying some other property, they actually begin to badmouth the other property and actually try and ensure that the buyer buys through them.
True.
That is very, very poor integrity. So no, integrity is actually number one. If your client has selected another property and he's going ahead and buying it, you should perhaps go and actually reason with him what is good about it, what is bad about it. If he asks you, that is, but you shouldn't really stop him. So I've been a victim of this when I came as an investor. So
Yeah.
that's when I realized that the broker mentality is very bad, and this mentality has to be changed. And this really pays off long term, because if you give your client the right advice, even if you're not doing the deal and you're giving him right advice, the clients come back to you, and not just come back to you. The Over the years, the clients whom I have not even dealt with, but have given right advice, are today investors in my warehousing projects.
Amazing.
So the trust is built over 20 years. You may have not done a single transaction, but the relationship that you had over 20 years, comes back to pay you someday. So
Yeah.
no, this is actually point one. This is a very, very long term game. Integrity and honesty is actually pivotal. Number one. Number two, you have to be a specialist in actually all that you do. You would rather be a cardiologist or a oncologist, but don't be a general medicine practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
People, these specialists get paid a lot more. They actually make a lot more money. So
Yeah.
you be a specialist of one vertical. It should be your identity. Identity. People should recognize you. Like when it is warehousing, people say Amit. So that is the brand that you need to build for yourself. That's what really gets you places.
Yeah.
So these are the two main things. You could actually make this rows from 2 to 5. But if you follow these two principally, you will actually get places.
Amazing. Very nice. So, like they say, jack of all trades and master of none. So you
Absolutely,
might as well be master of one at least, which will
exactly,
which
always.
will which will get you identity and recognition in the market, and people will come to you for that particular thing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, tell me a challenging situation that you've been into and you overcome it. So something that really was a challenge, and then you could face that and overcome that.
Right. So as brokers, you face challenging situations every day of your life. There are so many to tell you. So you and I are from the same era. Of course, you're my senior by more than a decade. But there was a time between 2005 to 2008 where the land prices were going up every day,
Yeah.
and you would go and you would speak to an owner about a price, and then come back and tell your buyer that price, and then he would ask for a meeting 2 days later, and then 2 days later, when they would sit across, the seller would quote a different price. So
Yeah.
these are challenging situations that you face in rising markets. That is the same story over the last even about a year and a half.
So, I mean, here, I would just like to point you on one thing. So, you rightly pinpointed this 2000 to 2000, 2005 to 2008. So, Pune probably started seeing this from 2003 to 2008. And I remember the incidences. I used to deal in land. So, there's a place in west of Pune which is known as Baner. That was an upcoming
Yeah.
micro market. And I've been selling lands there at the rate of 100 rupees a square feet, and the rates would jump every month. So there was an incident that I looked at a land in morning. I went out, got my client to check it out again. Afternoon, little later, about around 4 o'clock, we came back, and the guy changed the rate. I said, "What happened?" He said, "After you left, somebody else came and he offered me this price." I said, "But morning we met and you told me the price." So he said, "But so I've got this offer now." So, so the prices were changing throughout the day. And I would make two trips a day to Baner from camp. I had an office there. So I would make twice a day, I would travel to Baner. And this is how the era was. What he says, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
So speaking about challenges, land is the trickiest. Land is something where you face challenges which are the most difficult.
Uh,
Other verticals are pretty easy to handle, especially when it comes to leasing. It is actually fairly easy. When it
yeah,
actually comes to any other transaction, the game is a smaller game, so it is easy.
yeah,
Land is the toughest one to handle. Being the raw material, somebody works their costing on a certain price, and if that alters, the entire game actually changes.
yeah.
So, speaking about recent challenges from the year 2020,
Yeah.
so like immediately post COVID, we had finalized a property in a very prime location called Vorugadam in actually Chennai,
Yeah.
and it took us 2.5 years to clear the title, because the owner who had acquired 18 acres hadn't done the work properly. there were a lot of families where some legal hairs were left out.
Mm.
So we had to fly in people from Saudi Arabia, from Australia in business class, and we used to put them up in suite rooms in ITC Grand Colab, get their signatures to clean up the documents. And surprisingly, these were citizens of other countries. They were Indians by origin, and they
Yeah.
couldn't speak a word of English. They would walk around with dhotis, vesties. It was very challenging for us. It was fun to clean up all of this, and then then we actually brought the land 2.5 years later into a fund of ours, and today we are actually developing it. So no, that was a challenge in actually 2020. Then we faced multiple challenges, and actually 2000. 21, there was again a land that we bought where there were some, cheese holes in the middle. So,
Yeah.
so a family had actually, acquired about 18 acres, and there were 8 acres of cheese holes. So, that was something that that we sorted out over a period of about 8-9 months, which was challenging.
Okay.
Then in the year 2022, we picked up a land where the highways had acquired the frontage about 40 years ago, and
Yeah.
and they had paid the compensation to the owners. So the owners were still in possession of the land, but we had acquired all the land just behind the highways, and we're not able to acquire that land because under the name of highways. So to clear these people, because their dispute is with highways, it is actually not with us. But to actually get them vacate the place and clear it again, that was a big challenge. We had to go to the police, the highways department, industries department, so on and so forth. So there are multiple challenges at all levels in land, and that's why you actually get a premium, and it's also uh,
Mhm.
quite risky because you have to deal with all kinds of people.
Yeah.
People have political.
Pools. Yeah.
You have to be careful, but that's why it commands a premium. And the biggest kick is not the money that you make in these deals. The biggest kick is getting the impossible done. So
Yeah.
that is precisely what I work for. Money is secondary. It is about getting the impossible done that drives us every day of our life.
True. So,
The
yeah. So,
latest
please continue.
yeah. So the other latest incident was something that we acquired recently behind Sri City. We acquired a piece of land from 68 farmers. It took us two
Uh-huh.
years to sign up agreements with all 68. There were some no political groups that came in. They tried to confuse them, increase the price. Then we had to solve issues with the government acquisitions in the past, with some mortgage deeds, with some loans against this land. All farmers had actually loans. So highly complex transaction.
Yeah.
Too much of stress, because we had to get certain NOCs from the government. We had to get permission from the court to buy these lands. We had to get these listed back into the registrar office because these numbers were delisted, saying that they can't be registered. So a very very complex transaction. And after 2.5 years, again we brought this into a fund. Investors put in money, and we registered the entire land in actually 45 days. So that again is very exciting when you're able to do something that others are not able to do. That is very
Yeah.
exciting. So we love
Yeah.
this.
Well, this is kind of going against the winds because it's very difficult to get all these people at one go at one table and get this thing sorted out. It's not that
Absolutely.
easy. Yeah. So Amit, I want to ask you, what are the core values or ethical things that you look at decision making when you make a decision for yourself as a broker or as a developer now? So what is it that you look in it?
Okay, so the first things first is that when you make a decision, you have to understand whom all is it impacting.
Yeah.
So you first have to make a list. So when I decide something for my office or my people, or when I decide something, even when it comes to a land acquisition, when I'm actually dealing with farmers, I actually look at how it impacts everybody. So there's a portion of empathy that goes into all of this. When it comes to buying land from the farmers, I actually try and give them a land in exchange, which is a little bit far away, rather than just giving them money. Because once they take away the money, they spend it off, and the
Yeah.
and the and the family wealth cost. So
Yeah.
we typically try and give them 50% back in land, 50% as cash.
Yeah.
The same way when it comes to our people at office, so we actually begin to understand things from their perspective. So if I have to make like a change in office, like if you see, our office timings are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is highly unusual.
Yeah.
These kind of decisions are taken jointly with everybody in sync. And I'll,
Yeah.
and I'll explain more about why we work 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. later. but you have to have the empathy. That is the first part of actually everything.
Yeah.
Second is that you have to anticipate what will be the results of every action. So how is it going to impact you overall? I mean, obviously, when you work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., most of your clients are not going to be very comfortable because people who are attending to their work in the morning and they actually want to do inspections in the afternoon or the evening. You have to anticipate how actually they are going to react. What is it that needs to be changed? So expectations of the opposite, expectations of your action,
Yeah.
expecting actions is primarily what we actually take into consideration
Consideration.
before actually making any kind of decision.
Yeah. Amazing. That's very, very useful in today's times when youngsters are getting into our kind of business and they would want to have some kind of an guideline or, understand from a mentor or a experienced person. These are very nicely guiding principles for them. They would help them.
Yes.
Sure. So, uh, how do you balance work and personal life? Because this is a question which I literally ask all my guests, and I've come across very different answers from each one. Each one of us is workaholic. We want to do work, but balancing these two is very, very important. So, how does this happen in your case?
Right. Okay. So uh, this is actually a very very tricky question because this is something that you need to ask my wife, my parents, and my son, and not me. So typically, I had while I was doing land, I always had a very balanced life.
Yeah,
Typically our land business requires you to wake up early, leave home early, get to your site early. Before the farmers get to their work, you got to meet them, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
so a day starts at 4 a.m. Now, sometimes a day even ends at 10 p.m. and it happens over a period of time because when you're handling a fund where you're responsible to several investors, and on
yeah,
the other end you have several farmers to be lands to be registered. These kind of transactions cannot drag on for a few months or years,
yeah,
and will have imbalance. But one simple point I'll tell you. See, balancing life on a daily basis for a broker is very difficult because a broker works at his client's convenience. We actually work on Sundays, we work on work at their timings. It could be early morning, it could be late evening. So
yeah,
you can't really have your own schedules. It is always challenging to balance it.
yeah,
What I believe is that imbalance brings imbalance results, which
yeah,
means that if you're excessively working for a period of time, you'll also see excessively a lot of money, which is
yeah,
which is good. I'm not saying earning money is bad or
yeah,
imbalancing your life is bad. So it is good. Only thing is that you need to take a break. So you need to find a time to overall balance it over a period of time. But
yeah.
if you have to have a daily work-life balance, no, it's not going to be possible in our business unless you have very small goals which are easily achievable. But if you have large goals, daily balancing is not going to happen.
It's not possible. True, true. Yeah. So maybe you take it, maybe a trip, a break. You compensate all your things
Yes, yes.
during then.
So typically, I work Monday to Friday, and I also work even on Saturdays. But from Saturday noon till Sunday night, I'm with family. I'm at home. I spend all my time at home. I actually don't go out for site visits. I avoid it for at least 50 Sundays out of 52 because there could be one or two Sundays where you have to work.
Yeah.
And once a month I actually take a break to my weekend home at Mablipuram. Once in 3 months I actually take a 4 day 5 day break somewhere, and once a year I actually take a 3 week 3 week vacation. That's annually. So you balance it that way.
Very nice. Okay. Uh, what's the most exciting project or initiative you're currently working on?
Okay, exciting, right? So
Yeah.
this is actually sharing a business secret.
Yeah. Yeah. You might as well do it now.
Right. Basically, all our projects are exciting. Reason being that the data that we process tells us what to do and where to do, right? So right now we are actually working on a project in a place called Marai Malay Nagar, which is in Chennai.
Okay.
The land prices in Marai Malay Nagar are at the lowest 7 crore, the highest at about 15 crore an acre. Now, after Marai Malay Nagar, you have a place called Mahindra City, and Mahindra City is also at a
Yeah.
similar price band. It's at 6 crore an acre to about 10 crore an acre.
Yeah.
And there is a jewel that we found in between these two, which we are acquiring at somewhere around 25% of that price.
Okay.
So that is what is exciting. So the same thing happened in our Vorgadam project, in our Tiruvallur project, in our Sriperumbudur project, in our Sri City project, and now in Maraimalanagar. So you're buying land at a very cheap price, and it becomes extremely exciting because people who are looking at ROIs are very happy with a 7.58%. There
Yeah.
are funds even willing to buy 7%. But the construction cost being standard, buying land cheap is a whole game here.
Yeah.
So no, we are able to give our investors a 15% ROI when we buy land at this price. So no, that is very exciting for me.
Okay.
In the market where the land prices are this 6 crore, 8 crore, 10 crore, 12 crore, your rentals are at 40 rupees a square foot. And if I discount maybe 30% or even a little more, I can still manage to give my investors 15% ROI. So no, these kind of things are very exciting.
Yeah. Amazing. So,
So, yeah, yeah.
but this is
Bharat.
this doesn't happen
Yeah.
every now and then. So this would be a chance deal.
This is something that we do once a year. So we
Yeah.
go and we identify one project like this every year. Like if you look at our Vorgadam project, the price in Vorgadam is somewhere around 3 crore. But we have bought land at somewhere around 25% of that price. The
Yeah.
same thing we have done in Tiruvallur, the same thing in Sri City, the same thing in actually Sriperumbudur, and that's what makes it exciting for us. Um, Talking about the Maraimalanagar project, this land has a potential to be a residential land as well because people are doing plotted developments in the vicinity at
Yeah.
$1,500 a square foot, which means you have a 4 crore top line.
Yeah.
So, I look at a project where we stay invested for, 20, 25 years, where we enjoy the returns for 20, 25 years. And
Yeah.
our next generation can actually convert that land after the building has lived its life. You actually convert it to a residential project and they enjoy the asset multifold. So the valuation that you get at that time will be multifold. So it is not just for our generation, it's also for the next generation.
Yeah, true, true. Amit, can you tell me what kind of numbers are coming up in warehousing? Where is the market moving? Because this vertical has just begun, as I hear, and I would hear you say this to me a few years back that warehousing is going to be a very big game changer in the real estate
Yes.
industry. So, how do you foresee it going forward?
Well, see, I will tell you, there are a lot of warehouses that are also lying vacant. There are also certain residential projects that have also failed good market.
Yeah,
So what happens is every time that you see a real estate boom, every landowner becomes a developer.
true.
Over here, people think that they know everything. People actually come in as a developer. People come in, they develop their own warehousing parks. All of this happens,
Yeah,
and they end up getting the wrong kind of spec. So that's when they actually begin to fail, and then the whole market gets a bad reputation.
true.
Talking about where warehousing is going to go, well, India is poised to be one of the world's economic powers, and manufacturing is going to be a big game over here.
Yeah.
So the manufacturing not just for India, which is going to be the biggest consumption market. It is also going to be manufactured for no export. So automatically warehousing is also going to grow.
Yeah.
But while I say this, 90% of my business is industrial. We are only doing factories, more than warehouses. A lot more factories and warehouses.
Hmm.
So this game is here to stay. It is going to be there for those who are disciplined, those who buy land at the right price. Like I mentioned to you, that the market is 40 rupees and people are buying at 5 crore and 6 crore and 10 crore. I'm buying at a fraction of the price. So no, I'm definitely going to be there long term.
Yeah.
I don't have a pressure on rentals. I don't have a pressure to repay the bank because I can rent at a much lower price than actually anybody else, and I precisely know what to build. So that is the bigger game changer than actually anything else. So knowing where to build, buying land at the right price, and knowing what to build will actually keep you as a long-term player in the game. Otherwise,
True.
everybody else is going to be a short-term.
Any numbers you would like us to know the viewers that what kind of how much warehousing is being made now and what is the future consumption over a period of maybe 5-10 years down the line?
Right. So when it comes down to statistics, there are a lot of reports available online,
Yeah.
and the biggest challenge is that all these reports come with actually different numbers and different figures.
Yeah.
The we have a lot of underreporting over here in actually India. Even when it comes to brokers don't like to share what
The
deals they've done
data.
because fear of fear of
Yeah.
jealousy, people watching them, people knowing them. There's a parallel economy, so many things. So
Mm.
so just to put it in one line, I don't go too much into actually numbers, but to actually put it in one line, there is place a lot of place for the ones who are disciplined and who buy land at the right price and who know what to build. Very simple.
Yeah, true. So, adding to your point about the brokers do not want to share their data of what they have transacted,
Yes.
I was hit very badly with this particular thing because when at NAR India, National Association of Realtors India, we connected with NHB, that is National Housing Bank, and they wanted to start a different pattern in their bank called Residex. So it's Sensex. This is Residex. So residential properties indexing, and they
Right.
wanted since we were national association, we were nationally present, they wanted us to collate all the data and give it to them so that they know what is the actual price going in a particular location. That time
Right.
registrars, I mean, there was not much of online activity, so they would get everything at click of a button. So they were using our umbrella for that, and I was a nodal officer for NAR India. Now my duty was, apart from being the secretary, this also was my responsibility. So I was supposed to connect with each and every secretary of a particular city association and get the data from them in a particular format. I would not get anything. I would chase them.
Absolutely.
So at least give me four properties, each broker or east location, like, east, west, north, south, and central of that city. And I had tough time chasing these guys because they would not want to part with any data. But today,
Absolutely.
see, with times, everything is changed. Now we at click of a button from the registrar's office, you can get all the records, and life becomes easy. So what do you say?
Very very true. Only thing is that there is a parallel economy, so you don't get the complete information in actually some cases.
Yes, you don't. Yeah, yeah,
Other issue that we also have is that while you look at the data being circulated by the big companies, who circulate monthly reports,
yeah,
they only they only cover the big reported developers. Now, if you look at the Chennai market in terms of residential,
yeah,
while a big developer has 300 units to sell, 400 units to sell, there are about there are about 50, 60 small developers who actually have 6, 8, 12 units to sell.
yeah, true.
So like collect data from those 50 small developers is again virtually impossible.
Yeah.
So your so your reports are based on assumptions on what is the volume of the smaller players and what is the size that they're doing. So
Yeah.
so you don't get complete picture. So even when it comes to warehousing, I have been reading reports like when I read the report of the second quarter of 2023. I read 8 reports and people had actually quoted that the annual absorption in Chennai was between 4 million square feet to about 1.2 million square feet. So there's so much of variation in those 8 reports. Well, one says 4 million, one says sorry, the other one says 12 million.
Okay.
So there's a lot of assumption that goes into this yet.
Yeah. So everybody goes by their own
Yes,
work.
because many lease agreements are not registered. So even if you go to the registrar office, you're not going to be getting that no data.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
it is mandatory. It's not. There is no way that the government is able to get people to register every lease agreement.
True.
There
True.
are
True.
MNCs, there are foreign companies who are okay with not registering a lease agreement because the cost is prohibitive here in Tamil Nadu. So you'll be surprised that MNCs are not registering. So how are you going to get the data?
Yeah. Yeah. True. I mean, can you share a memorable failure and the lesson you learned from it?
Okay, so failures. Well, see, as a broker, failures, like I said, failures are a part of daily life. Challenges and failures are part of daily life. The whole aspect about being a broker is that you self motivate and you actually come back on top of the game and you work the next day as if actually nothing ever went wrong. So in actually terms of failures, there are actually many.
Yeah.
Like there are failures because of no fault of yours, especially in actually large land deals where we typically try and do one big deal a year because it takes you that much time to sort out and clean one land for you to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So no, there have been many instances where we have actually cleared a land for a buyer. The seller was not, or maybe he acquired it at a time when legal diligence wasn't so important,
Yeah.
and you cleaned up the whole transaction over a year, and then finally when you went for registration, the stamp duty was paid, the DDs were taken, the documents were made. We also went to the registrar office and we actually stood there to register. And then the buyer just told the seller something that he didn't like, which obviously happens in actually such long transactions. Moods change.
Yeah.
The buyer has certain demands because his team wants it. The seller says, "Look, this is all I have. You want to buy it, buy it. Otherwise, get lost." So these kind of things happen, and you somehow sit and you satisfy their egos. You calm them down, and you actually make things work. And then when you're at a register office, this is something that I faced. The buyer told the seller something that he didn't like, and by the time the DD had been given to the seller, the document was already signed, it had been presented to the registrar to register, the stamp duty fees was paid. And when this line went from the buyer to the seller while they were talking outside, the seller hands over the DDs in my hand and he says, give it to him and tell him that I'm not selling and I'm going away. So he just starts his car and he goes away after 1 year. And then you realize that the buyer has his money still. He has nothing to lose.
Correct.
The seller property
As
is
is
still, he
land.
also has,
Yeah.
and then the person who's lost everything is only you.
Yeah.
Because for us, time is money.
Absolutely.
And these kind of things we have actually come across, and these are actually failures for no fault of yours,
Yeah.
but it is actually part and parcel of the business.
So,
So there are many failures. Yes,
as we say, we are billionaires in losses. So,
absolutely.
so this kind of an incidences happened with me. We almost reached the registration stage, and I went to the lawyer of the seller, and the buyer was from Mumbai. The buyer called. He was also a very big professional chartered accountant and a large firm. He wanted me to connect with to him to this lawyer, and this was the one of the top lawyer firms in Pune. And I don't know what went up, and there was some kind of an ego clash. And then this lawyer started shouting. He said, "I mean, you're not my boss. Come here, come to Pune and talk to me. You can't be talking like that." And he banged the phone, and he called the seller. He said, "You know what? I do not want to do this." So the seller told me, if my lawyer doesn't go ahead, there's no deal. So everything was washed out, and the money had come, everything had come. We parted with it again. And like you said, the land still stayed with the seller, money still stayed with the buyer, and we lost the time in between. So this happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So no, there are actually so many other failures that we learn from and we correct it. Our biggest failure is to trust people.
Yeah.
Like a near and dear, you sometimes trust them, do a transaction for them, and then they cut your fee or they don't want to pay you. There are people who go out of the way to help, but then you have to begin to realize that business is separate, family, friends, relatives are
Yeah.
separate. You have to have systems, SOPs in place, confirm your commission in advance, take it in writing.
Yeah.
So no failures that we actually keep on learning from.
Absolutely. I mean, describe a typical day in your life.
Okay. It's not very exciting.
Okay.
So off late, my wife has been complaining about it. So I'll anyway tell you about it. So my day typically starts at 4 a.m. And this is something that I don't know if you have heard of the 4 a.m. club.
No, I have.
So the 4 a.m.
Can you tell
right.
us?
So all the top business people, whether it is Bill Gates or the Apple, the person who took Apple up, and surprisingly, I'm actually not able to get his name. Or whether it's Elon Musk, all those who have made it very big in their life started 4 a.m. And there's a typical science behind it. So it's also known as, if you believe in actually Hinduism, it's also called Brahma Muhurat.
Yeah.
So your mind is extremely clear, and it's a time that you don't really put for meditation or workouts. Let me tell you this very clearly.
Okay.
The 4 a.m. is put for business growth. So when we speak about business, the business is only two aspects broadly. One is called growth, and one is called opportunity, operation rather. So your business growth, any kind of decision making that you want to do, you should do it between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. Reason being that the mind thinks very rationally. It is extremely clear. You can actually put down your notes and you actually get utmost clarity. Any problem that I have, I am able to resolve it only at that hour. That's when you get the best ideas. That's when you are actually best able to handle people. That's so I typically spend that particular time, the 4 to 6, doing actually important decision making for growth. Somewhere where you're stuck, where you want an answer.
Yeah.
6 a.m. to 7 a.m. is actually when I go out for my walk, and my office wakes up at that hour. So I have my review meetings. I have review calls at 6 o'clock, 6:15, 6:30, and at
Mm-hmm.
6:45.
Mm-hmm.
So I finish all my review calls between 6 and 7. So my entire office knows what they're going to be doing for the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
At actually 7 a.m., I actually get into my house. I actually, quickly, freshen up, and I actually get ready for office. So the 6 to 7 is again multitasking. So I'm walking while I'm doing all my calls. So my
Yeah.
workout is also completed.
Mm.
So from 7 to 7:30, I actually get ready for office. I actually finish my breakfast. I drop my son to school because that's the quality time that I get with him, 15 minutes a day. So
True.
so so just him and me in the car, and we actually have a chat, and I drop him off to school. And I've taken a new office which is right next to a school.
Okay.
So I typically get to office in within like 4 5 minutes from dropping off to school,
Okay.
and from 8 to 9 I actually do meetings in office. So if somebody from my team really wants to meet me for a private one-to-one discussion, or if any of my clients want to have something very very important to discuss, it is normally done between 8 to 9, or worst case up to about 9:30 10. So I finish all my growth work before 10 a.m. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, 6 to 8 is actually a little bit of operations. It is not growth. 4 to 6 is growth. 8 to 10 is growth. After 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., I am typically at the mercy of my clients. So
Yeah.
we are only doing firefighting. As brokers, people have problems. They actually come to you. All that you sit and do is actually solve your deal, solve all the problems. So that goes on 10 to 4.
Yeah.
4 p.m. is actually when I actually wind up at work. I actually only do important out of office meetings with my clients in say coffee shops.
Yeah.
It's more a relaxed period after 4 p.m. Nothing very very intense. Nothing where any decisions have to be taken. I actually get home at 6 o'clock. Spend time with family from the 6 to 9. I have dinner. All of us have dinner together. We actually play cards. Dad, mom, or my wife, my son, and me. This is the routine
Wow.
that we have been doing for about 8 years now. That we play cards every day after dinner. We have an early dinner, 7:30, and
Okay.
I actually go to bed by about 9 o'clock. Between 9 and 9:30, and I'm asleep.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Very nice. So this is probably this is I've heard this from you. This is a very different pattern of uh, uh, the day routine that realtors have. But otherwise, it's very difficult for realtors. They stay late till very late in the night, and then they wake up pretty late in the morning. So you're on your job at 4 o'clock, and then you're in control of things. That's very important.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So three days are typically this way, and the other 3 days are I actually work from 4 to 6. 6 o'clock, actually. Rather, you can say 5:30. I start driving towards my site because we have sites across the city.
Yeah.
So then 3 days a week, I actually drive to my site from 5:30 to 7. While I'm driving, I actually finish my calls.
Yeah.
I have a colleague who actually drives me, so I finish my calls by 7.
Yeah.
7 to 9, we finish all our work with the farmers, all our land work that needs to be done.
Hmm.
9 to 11, we actually discuss with our aggregators, go and see other sites in the vicinity. 11 to about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we are at government offices, following up on our NOCs, on our approval sanctions, or we're sitting with our architects, or our approval agents. So I have an architect in every area of Chennai, like 50 kilometers away. I use a local architect. I use a local approval agency in that area, so
Yeah.
that it becomes very easy to manage. So when I go to my site, my engineers come there. Everybody comes there. So we finish all our reviews once a week at every site, and I actually drive back home to reach home before 6. So this whole 8 to 4 routine saves you two very important aspects in Chennai. Number one, early morning when you go, you save a lot of time, and
Traffic.
you escape the heat.
Yeah.
Yes. So it also gets very hot. So from 7 to 9,
Yeah.
I actually finish all my work at the site, which is
Yeah.
outdoor. That also works as an exercise for me because I actually walk the boundaries of my site every time.
Mm.
Uh,
True.
these are all 40 acres, 60 acres. So I take my team actually walk around. I'm able to see the overall development of the entire land
Yeah.
during that period. So it works in multiple ways, and
Yeah.
and you get back home before actually peak traffic hour. The bigger advantage is when you're
Yeah.
home at say 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you have a lot more time with your family.
True.
Otherwise, we are typically wasting our entire mornings.
Yeah.
And the clients have got used to this routine. And they say that this has given us exponential results in the last 2 years. This particular system of working, and my clients are willing to come with me early mornings for site visits. So they're willing to work at my timings because once they see you are successful, they actually adjust to your time.
Very nice.
This is a very big change, very very big change
Yeah.
over the years. Otherwise, we always work to client timings. These
Yeah.
days, all my clients adjust to my timings.
Amazing. Amit, you also getting into development. Would you like us to tell how this is working and what kind of an format you're working on?
Okay, done. So see, development is more de facto when you're performing well.
Yeah.
Um, say, okay, let me speak in actually, clarity to what we've done.
Yeah.
We started with land 20 years ago, and land is the toughest part of real estate, like I had
Yeah.
mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And when you're doing leasing and you're mastering it, so all that is left in between here is actually hardly anything. You
Yeah.
just need to bridge the gap
Yeah.
because you are the person who knows what to build. You are the person who knows where to build. So you're only going to be hiring contractors, and you're going to be hiring architects and liaison agents, maybe PMC people to actually get things done.
Yeah.
uh, the rest of the main job is actually being actually done by you.
Yeah.
Now when you created this reputation, investors are willing to back you up.
Yeah.
That is what I actually started off when you told me as a realtor what are the fundamental rules. I
Yeah.
actually said that the reputation over 20 years,
Yeah.
that even clients who actually do not deal with you are actually willing to back you up and actually fund you.
Yeah.
So no, that is the stage that we've reached. It is about integrity, honesty, and trust, and about giving the right advice always. That people are willing to back us up. So
Yeah.
we're able to fund all our real estate projects. We are currently doing four large developments spread across 150 acres across Chennai.
Okay.
We are expanding this to about 200 acres by the end of this year, and we'll be having 5 million square feet under construction. Now, for a broker to be able to do all of this in 2 years
Yeah.
means that there is a lot of trust on him in the market.
True.
So the brand All Warehouse is actually very very well recognized when it comes to warehouse leasing. Chattels Realty is actually recognized in actually terms of land acquisition. So
Yeah.
you build your trust that people are willing to back you.
Yeah.
And typically, why do investors put money on money on us? Once again, five simple reasons.
Yeah.
Number one, you have acquired land at much cheaper than market price. I actually give you clear examples.
Yeah.
Second, second, you are the master of leasing.
True.
Third, third is that your skin is in the game. You have already invested money in those agreements with those farmers. You have already cleared legal, and you're continuing to be an investor right throughout.
Yeah.
Now, number four, there's no risk passed on to the investor at all because you have completely cleared everything, and the investor is putting in money
Yeah.
into SPV only on the day of registration, and he's getting shares against it. So it is totally
Yeah.
secured. There is absolutely no actually risk for investor at all.
Yeah.
So with all of these aspects, raising money is actually not a challenge at all. So while we have access to a few hundred crores of money, we are not taking it all because we don't have projects that fit into it. So it's only when I get a project that I'm sure that yes, I can actually make it multifold,
Mm.
and it's worth of my time and effort. That's when we do it. So we don't want to be doing 30 projects just because money is available. We are very happy doing 5 or 6, but we want to do something absolutely brilliant, worthwhile, and it should give absolutely great returns with actually complete safety.
So you're also looking at expanding out of Chennai?
Yes, yes, we actually will be looking at expanding out of Chennai. We are
Yeah.
already looking at something in Bangalore, something in Hosur. We have also got joint developments and joint venture opportunities when it comes to Bangalore and Hyderabad.
Okay.
Uh, Pune is one market which is I would say as the second best market in India after Chennai.
Okay.
So no, we will be looking at Pune as well. But typically I would be looking at this only in the last quarter of this year, which is more than 6 months away to about 1 year away.
Okay. Okay. Amit, my viewers, we've got a mix of everyone: sellers, buyers, budding realtors, or established realtors also. They also watch, and I receive a lot of comments and interaction with them. So, what is a piece of advice that you would want to give to these people?
So is advice to you're talking mainly about brokers,
All of them, like buyers, sellers, also clients. That is.
right? So typically, uh, advice is actually something. If it is given free, it is not valued at all. So many people told me about a club, but then I joined a 4 a.m. club only after joining a business coach. After paying a fee of about 14 lakh rupees, then I realized, okay, let me try it.
Okay.
So any advice that is paid advice will work. People will
It
follow it.
values. Yeah.
It works miracles.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, how much money are you paying me for this advice?
I already paid you, man.
Sure. Sure. So, see, basically advice, no? Advice can be right and wrong.
Yeah.
There is a certain kind of advice that will work for you at one time, but will not work for you at another time.
Yeah.
This is something that I have actually learned in my whole career. When I was much younger, at a different stage of my career, I was advised money saved is money earned.
Yeah.
I was advised not to borrow and to live within your means.
Yeah.
So these are all fundamental advices which are good for people. But I think the opposite today. All those advices work for me very well. I'm actually not saying that they didn't work for me. They worked for me very well at that time. But
Yeah.
today I do just the opposite of all of this.
Okay.
Uh, it is about, one advice is a 4 a.m. miracle. It is
Yeah.
it is because of the clarity of thought that you're able to actually visualize what you're going to be doing, where you're going to be reaching, and you definitely cannot do it by actually saving money. So you have a plan into place, and you have to execute the plan. So there is a very very clear saying: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
You plan to fail. True.
When you have a plan, there is a certain kind of an investment that you actually have to do into it.
Yeah.
All those older advices become irrelevant today. But
Yeah.
I'm still that they were right in their day.
Yeah.
But and this is actually right today.
Yeah.
So no, definitely number one, you should plan. Like I said, that if you fail to plan, you actually plan to fail. That's the number one. Planning is the biggest advice that I give everybody. You should know very very clearly where you're going to be in 3 months, where you're going to be in 1 year, where you're going to be in 3 years, where you're going to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I have all that mapped, and I'm working towards those targets, and it's working very well for me. So this is number one. Number two is, I will still advise, get up at 4 a.m. Um, don't do these interviews at 4 a.m. But think about growth at that time. It'll work really well for you. 4 a.m. is, I'm planning to add listening to podcasts between 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. while I walk,
When you
because
walk. Yeah.
some of my podcasts have gone viral, and I'm getting investors from the UK, from US and Hong Kong, who have actually heard my podcast that I recorded during COVID. So
Okay.
you get brilliant. You actually get to hear brilliant people, and you can also act on what they say. So you could also do that.
Yeah.
The third advice is manifestation.
Yeah.
Manifestation works wonders. It is actually something that I would suggest to you to also try it.
Okay.
When you begin to imagine what you want to be, when
Yeah.
you begin to live what you want to be,
Yeah.
that's when you are actually becoming it. The whole world works towards bringing it towards you, and
Yeah.
it's magic, and it's also working for me. One of the people who actually believes in manifestation is Shah Rukh Khan. He's the one who I heard first talking about manifestation.
Okay.
But it's only after I paid the 14 lakhs that I actually realized that yes,
All
it's
right.
actually
So
something I
we are bringing it free to our viewers and myself also.
yeah, yes, but it's only when you pay me money it'll work.
All
Yeah.
right, Amit, we had a very good time interacting with each other, and this was more of an interaction and understanding your way of working. And I'm sure this will help our viewers quite a bit in their day to day lives, in their work patterns, in their schedules. and in their growth path also. And 4 a.m. Club for sure is going to be a very big takeaway from this particular podcast. This doesn't end here. I'm sure we're going to again get together with another part of this.
Definitely, I will invite you for a Bhumi Puja of 4 lakh square feet that we'll be doing within the next 3 months.
Sure.
So no, I will send you the invitation, and I'll be very glad to have you here.
We'll be there for sure. Thank you very much, Amit.
Sure.
Thank you and see you back.
I'll see you.
Bye. Okay, friends. So this is with Amit. We're signing off and thank you. Have a great day.